The views and opinions expressed by presenters and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Parasearch UK Radio or its affiliates and sponsors. Listener discretion is advised. You're listening to Paranormal Concept right here on Parasearch UK Radio with your host, Paul Rook.
Good evening and welcome to another edition of the Paranormal Concept. I'm your host, Paul Rook, and on tonight's show we have got one fantastic guest for you. But before we introduce the guest, I'm going to be introducing my co-host, Kerry Greenaway. Hello, Kerry.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Recovered after your tech issues?
Oh, I am a very happy girl tonight.
Yeah, good. Awesome.
Happy evil queen.
Well, that's it. I mean, I'd be really annoyed if I spent two finding something.
Don't even, no.
Something wrong with
it. Don't even go there. It was not as simple as that.
It was the mute button.
It was at the end, but it wasn't as simple as that. Everyone's claiming me for this, and it was not as simple as that to start with.
It was, everybody.
It so wasn't. I know I'm well known for my relationship with the mute button, but on this occasion, it wasn't.
Okay.
Just the poxy mute button.
Okay, we'll go with that. We'll pretend that's what it was. Right.
It's true. Bloody true.
Anyway, skipping on. We are joined by the founder member of the Haunted in New England paranormal team, Eric Perry. Is it Perry or Parry?
You got it right.
Eric Perry. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. How's your paranormal week been?
Quiet.
Yeah, not been up to much investigation-wise then?
No, not too much lately. No, been very quiet.
Okay. Well, what got you started into the paranormal? We'll start sort of at the beginning and roll on from there.
My first time I ever came across a ghost or spirit was in Salem, Massachusetts.
Ooh, Salem. I'd good things about Salem.
Not all of it's good. Some of it's good. Some of it's bad.
I should imagine it's just like anywhere else, really. So what was it you experienced in Salem?
I experienced a shadow person and a cold touch, and I heard the words "get out," and I ran like a little schoolgirl.
Was that
We've all done that.
Was that like your first investigation then?
No, that was actually in the 6th grade.
Oh wow!
Wow, so you was young.
Yeah.
So are you a sensitive or a medium or something like that?
I am a medium. I've been tested a couple times by a couple people, and they have come to the conclusion that I am a medium.
Okay, what kind of testing was done?
Like, they tested me on objects and stuff like that. If I held an object, if I can pick up that person's vibes off of it, like that.
Like psychometry.
Right.
Okay.
And the testing was really cool. I've had psychics who actually told me that I was a medium from just talking with me. They could sense it and they could feel it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's quite interesting because, you know, we hear it a lot that everyone is sensitive or can pick up spirit at different levels.
Right.
It's just interesting, obviously, that you got to see your shadow people and everything sort of like on your first sort of go when you was like 6.
Yeah. No, in the 6th grade.
Okay.
I was about 10, 11, I would say.
Okay. So, like, looking at your cultural influences at that point, what kind of things were you into at that point? Because that interests me. Was you sort of already into, like, the supernatural and horror stories and, you know, that kind of thing at that age? Or was that completely out of your experience zone?
I was into the horror movies, but I was more into heavy metal.
There's a lot of paranormal influence and supernatural influence, though, with heavy metal, isn't there?
Yes. And
so do you
like Judas Priest was one of them.
So do you think that was influential in what you experienced?
Yes. When I started getting into Alice Cooper, Kiss, Motley Crue, stuff like that kind of got me into it more.
Mm. Because, like, we've done shows on this before now, there is a huge correlation between that kind of genre and the like we said, the occult, the supernatural, the paranormal, that kind of banner, isn't there? There's a huge symbolism as well with rock music that not rock, metal music that they use. That they seem to be quite into all that sort of stuff as well.
Correct. Like Black Sabbath.
Mm-hmm.
That had a lot to do with my metal influence, but it took me to another level with the paranormal. I'll put it that way.
Okay, in what way was that?
If you listen to the words of the songs, they make sense. Some of the words, the lyrics that they did was something a little different. They brought like a meaning. You could understand where they were coming from. They kind of opened your mind a little bit to what the words were actually saying. Like Iron Man. If you listen to that, you think, he's talking about someone that made out of iron. But the song is more or less along the lines of the guy in the Iron Mask. More or less.
Mm.
So it kind of brought me around to say, hey, heavy metal is something I like and I really enjoy, and it brought me more into later on in life, it brought me more into the paranormal field.
Paul?
Okay. With that sort of music, I mean, I don't know too much about the basis for that. Isn't that quite more demonic and dark side of the paranormal than?
No. There are metal bands that are dark and stuff like that, but there are bands that are not.
Right. Okay.
Like you got like Motley Crue put out an album called "Shout at the Devil."
Yeah.
Right. Then Stryper came up with one called "Go to Hell with the Devil." So you have a Christian band putting out an album, "To Hell with the Devil." You got a metal band like Motley Crue putting out "Shout at the Devil." So you kind of had the good and the bad.
Yeah. When like you was raised, was you in a family that was very religious?
No, my mother was actually a witch.
Okay.
So you already had that kind of influence in your life from birth.
Correct.
Was she practicing?
No, she didn't practice for a long time. When I was in the 80s, she didn't really do a lot of that. She was mostly home, cooking meals and stuff like that for us kids, because I was one of 4 boys.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, bless her.
Did she allow you to sort of find your own feet within that what sort of way of life, or?
Yeah, she actually, when I didn't really get into the paranormal until I was like in my 40s, early 40s, and it made a lot more sense to get into because my mom was like, "Go ahead, do it, go for it, see what you can do," and I did.
Awesome.
And she encouraged me. I had some friends that encouraged me. I just kept going. Oh,
good for you.
And she told me to write books. I wrote books, stuff like that.
So what was your first book about?
It was about New England haunts around the area, some of the places I've been, some of the investigations, stuff like that.
So you're born and bred New England?
No, actually, I was actually born in Florida.
Oh, see, now we call that freaky Florida now after we spoke to Mark Muncy about Florida. Because that in itself is quite a strange area when you cut through the touristy side of things. So when did you move to New England?
I would say 68, 69.
Oh, okay. How young was you?
What's that?
Sort of, what age was you when you sort of moved?
1.
Oh, so you don't really remember Florida, so it is really like your roots are kind of like New England.
Right.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So what was your first investigation like, and where was it?
My first one was the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum in West Virginia. Was my very first one.
Okay, and did you get much activity on that one?
Oh yeah. We were actually doing an investigation during a tornado warning.
Oh my word! But I would imagine with that kind of atmospheric pressure that was going on, was it very active that night? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah. We had all around a room by itself. We could smell cigar smoke. We could, what else? We saw a shadow person. All kinds of different things were going on during that time.
So have you noticed a correlation between that kind of weather condition and investigations? Yeah.
We've had a few investigations where we've done during storms, even snowstorms that have happened. We noticed that a lot of the activity surrounds the electricity in the air.
Yeah.
That's what's picking it up.
Interesting.
Yeah, well, this is a side of thing that I'm actually looking into myself at the moment. This natural environmental conditions that are triggering activity. So this side of thing are fascinating. And the fact that you've done one in a tornado watch, I mean, you can't get much more extreme than a tornado, really, can you? From what we see from the UK, we don't really get them in the UK. We do occasionally, but not nowhere near what you guys. Yeah, I was going to say it's really rare.
Yeah.
It's very small as well compared to what you guys get.
I can imagine there'd be a lot of static in the air.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There was a lot. Matter of fact, I remember the car that we were in got pelted by hail and broke its windshield that night.
Oh my goodness.
See, and Kerry doesn't even go out if it's too cold.
I am a fair weather investigator. I admit that freely.
Well, you got to get out there into one of the storms.
Yeah, Kerry, get out there. One of the storms.
Okay,
go for it.
guide. All right. I will. We don't tend. The thing is, with the UK, we don't get weather conditions like you do over in America. You get a lot more extreme weather conditions than we do in the UK. Yes, we get the occasional storm, but they're not like what you guys get. So it's sometimes really hard to know when a storm's coming, and we don't get you'll get what we see in the movies. You know, proper night going on, crashes and bangs and all that. We'll get it for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then it'll pass over.
Yeah. Our weather's rubbish, really, compared to America.
Yeah, I mean, we get very... I mean, yeah, okay, so occasionally we'll get extremes, but nowhere like America. I mean, we have an American host on Parasearch Radio, and some of the conditions he talks about, and I'm sitting there going, I mean, I've witnessed thunder snow once in my life, and it scared the crap out of me because I didn't know what the hell it was. That's a regular occurrence in America.
Yes, we do have that. Where I live in the mountains, so yeah, we definitely get that.
Yeah, so I've witnessed that once in my life.
And what's that?
Thunder snow.
Okay. New one on me, but okay.
It's basically you're getting thunder lightning, but it's snowing.
Okay. No, I've never witnessed that.
It's really pretty. It's really pretty when it happens.
Well, as I say, that scared the life out of me. I didn't know what the hell was going on. I was like, hang on, it's thunder and lightning, but we've got snow. That's really weird. And because I'd never ever witnessed it. But as I say, it was only when I was talking to Jay Lynch in America. He was like, oh, don't worry about that. And it's like, listen, he's got, that's nothing. Oh, right, okay.
There you go.
Okay, well, we got a question in the chat room by Alan Crabtree. He said that he would like to ask, do you get any premonitions prior to a location visit?
Repeat that again?
He wants to know if you get any premonitions prior to a location visit.
Well, when we get to a location, I'm usually the first one in and the last one out. So when I pull up to a property, I can get that. I get that feeling like there's something there.
Okay. But you don't get anything sort of like day before, 2 days before or anything?
Not the day before, no. I try to clear my head and I try to meditate. I go to a cemetery.
Yeah.
And I'll meditate in the cemetery.
Okay. Cool. Okay, so what other investigations have you done, like on a public scale, or do you do public events?
We do public events. We have done them before, quite a bit of them.
Yeah.
We did American Stonehenge, which is over 4,000 years old.
Okay.
Sorry. I take your 4,000 years old and I raise you.
And we had to put them out. And during one of the investigations, we did an EVP session where we got a foreign language where we couldn't understand.
Mm. Did you pin it down afterwards?
Yeah, we took it to someone that understands dialect from that time period, and they couldn't get out.
Oh, okay.
So it's beyond that time period.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that kind of caught us off guard.
Yeah.
So you do dowsing as well, don't you, on your investigations?
We do.
Did you douse this American Stonehenge?
Yes, and it did point us in directions of the spirits of the place. And it took us to what they call the sacrificial table.
Yeah, the altar thing.
Yeah. And we had a lot of activity over there.
Do you think it's the team you've got around you that helps activate that activity?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I got a lot of... My team consists of 23 people. From Maine down to South Carolina.
Wow, it's a big team.
Yeah. And we rotate members to go out on investigations and stuff to make it easier for everyone to at least get out.
Yeah.
But I'm always the one on those investigations. I'm never the one that gets rotated because I want to make sure my team stays safe.
So you're always there?
Yeah.
Because somebody in the chat room has actually said that it's you who activates the activity.
I do sometimes when it goes to that stuff. When I do it, when we just did a place down in Connecticut, and I went up to the attic by myself, and it was like a scene out of 13 Ghosts. I had all these orbs circling me while I was sitting there. And they were watching it on the DVR down at the command center.
Okay, so you've recalled the event as well, yeah?
Correct.
Okay. That'd be interesting to look at and watch. See what unfolds.
Did that not scare you? Do you ever, or should I say, do you ever get scared on a location?
Yes. I have. I had a French soldier point his musket at my head on an investigation. And it scared the living hell out of me. I could see him. I saw the gun at my head. I just walked out of the room and got in the car and left the area for a few minutes.
Well, yeah, that's enough to freak anybody out, to be fair.
Yeah.
Where was that?
Wasquin, New Hampshire. An old director's home for a nursing home.
Why do you think he was doing that?
Protecting the other troops, because it was part of the French-Indian War that was going on.
Oh, I see. Did he think he was a threat then? Or was you just sort of like in the way from a playback?
I think he thought I was a threat.
I see.
That's what I think. He thought I was a big threat. And, that's what I think he was more or less worried about.
Was that the worst thing you've had on an investigation?
No. No, I've been scratched, hit, punched, thrown. So, yeah, I've had my share.
So what do you think... Oh, sorry, Paul, carry on.
I was going to say, do you when you go into investigations and stuff, do you do your own protection?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I actually wear a cross around my neck to protect me from the spirits, but it doesn't always happen that way either. They still attack.
Maybe you want 2 crosses instead.
Right.
Double the power.
Right. I do have St. Michael's medallions in my wallet that I do have with me.
Okay.
So that's quite extreme, isn't it? What you've experienced through spirit activity. Do you think that's... Well, why do you think that is, should we say?
I wish I knew. I seem to be a magnet for it. They like to follow me everywhere I go. I just had a reading done on me, and I was told I have 6 of them that are attached to me at all times. So I was kind of shocked at that. I thought I didn't have any.
Do you think they're having some sort of influence over you then?
No, I wouldn't say they have influence.
Okay.
I do think that a couple of them could be for protecting.
Right. Okay.
But I think the other ones are just checking me out, kind of thing.
Yeah, so they're almost like attached to you because you can sense them, or you've got some sort of gift that they can use, if that makes sense.
Yes. I even took one to work with me, and it knocked all the fans off the shelf one day.
Oh, no, you don't want that. Leave them home next time.
Yeah.
Yeah. You if you're going to take one to work, one that's going to work for you.
Well, yeah, I was just thinking that myself.
Put your feet up, let them do washing up or something, you know.
That'd be lovely.
I've also dealt with a poltergeist in Kentucky, New Hampshire.
Okay.
It was amazing. I'll put it that way.
I can imagine.
We shut all the power off to the house, and all of a sudden the TV turns on by itself, the lights are turning on and off, our equipment's going on and off, all over the place, and a door opens all by itself.
Fantastic.
Do you think,
right, not for them.
because you're experiencing quite a lot of activity, which some investigators spend a lifetime trying to experience. So what do you think you've got that others haven't?
Probably family lineage. My family lineage I have, because I've done my family tree, I do have blood of some famous people that were very well known in some circles.
Okay. I suppose that could make sense. I can understand that.
Right.
I mean, I've gone to cases where they've claimed they've had paranormal activity and nothing's ever happened.
Right.
Not one bit of evidence that we could gather.
Right.
So it would be quite nice to actually go to an investigation and have something like that happen.
Well, the weird thing is, most of the time I go and I get recordings, you can hear my name called a lot during investigations. I'll even sometimes I'll even astral project myself to a location.
Okay. With poltergeist activity one, could that not be some sort of telekinesis? Because
No.
I've always linked poltergeist activity with some kind of telekinesis.
Well, we everything that we came up with at night, we couldn't explain. With the power being off, the lights and everything turning on and off, all the equipment alarms going off, the door opening and closing by itself. Yeah, we could, and the family was scared to beyond belief. They actually moved to Florida right after.
Wow.
Okay. Did the activity follow them, or have you been in touch with them since?
No, it didn't follow them at all.
Okay. So the people, what about the people that moved into their house? Have they experienced anything? Or do you not know that?
Well, some of the history of the place, I could tell you this much. The house was built in 1970. The gentleman and the wife and the lady that lived there, he worked at an insane asylum in New Hampshire.
Okay.
He had to go and investigate some of the property one day and brought something home with him that he shouldn't have.
Right, okay.
So do you think that was an inmate that passed that attached to him?
Right. Yeah, I do. I think it was very much attached to him.
If it was,
I actually told him you shouldn't have gone up there in the first place.
If it was attached to him, then surely by definition it would have followed him to wherever he moved to.
Right, but we actually did a cleansing on the place.
Not on him, though.
On him, too.
Oh, you did it on him, too. Okay.
Yeah. And they have no more activity with them, but the house, no one will live in it because of the activity that happened there.
It's still happening to this day and no one will live in it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Surely that's a paranormal investigator's dream.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. What the realty company won't let you in to do it.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, see, that's the trouble, isn't it? You get those kind of people step in and it's like, becomes a bit of an issue.
Right.
So do you think a belief system drives activity?
I believe so.
So how about your belief system? Do you think that plays a role in how you work?
Yes, my belief system, what I believe in and what my team believes in for activity. Like, not only have we done with the belief system with the ghosts and stuff, but we've also come across, during one of our investigations, we came across a Sasquatch or a Bigfoot.
Okay.
We've come across them. We've come across UFO at one point. So we've come across different things that we can't explain, and our police are saying to us those aren't real, but they are.
So have you investigated them as much as you have with the spirit world?
Yeah, UFOs, no. Bigfoot, yes. We get calls constantly on Bigfoot.
Okay.
A lot of people are very fascinated by Bigfoot. And we actually captured a footprint. We actually got to see him up close and personal. And that was a scary sight in itself, seeing a Bigfoot up close. When you got a thing that stands at least 8-9 feet tall and weighs over 1,000 pounds, yeah, and smells like garbage. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, that is a common thing actually. With that is that the smell is something that a lot of people comment on all the time. But there doesn't be any physical evidence, does there?
No. Well, you got hair, you got footprints and stuff like that, but you kind of want to figure all that out too. So,
how important do you think it would be then to for all these samples to get through? Well, I think it's incredibly important to get them tested, because then surely that would lead the way forward in regard to that kind of research.
I think if someone actually finds remains of Sasquatch, that would be great. I think that would move science forward in understanding the creature. But there's never been any bones found about Bigfoot. There's never been any bones at all.
Yeah, I've never heard of that actually. Thinking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird.
Indeed. I mean, how do you go about investigating someone's claim that they've seen a Bigfoot?
They when someone goes and says to us that they've come across a Bigfoot, it kind of kind of changes for us.
Yeah.
And stuff. So.
Because I mean, it's not like you can grab your K2 meters and go off and do your an investigation at someone's house or anything. Because obviously it's going to be, I would have thought, in some garden or in the woods or something. So I mean, is it a case of sort of going hunting, or I don't know. I've never really thought about.
Yeah, people they'll hike, go against and hike and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
it's more of a tracking scenario, isn't it? You go out more tracking for Sasquatch than you do investigate, I suppose. I would see it as more of a hunter-gatherer kind of scenario than paranormal investigator. I would imagine. I don't know. I mean,
yeah, I've always wondered what would people do when they actually found one. Does it run up to them and go, "Add, you're it," and run away? I don't know.
Right. Well, when you're out and hiking and you come across something you can't explain, that kind of makes it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When you don't expect it to cross the road, you don't know. You don't know when you see them all of a sudden. It's just an incredible thing. And when you come across a Sasquatch, it kind of makes you, come across.
Yeah.
It kind of leaves you speechless. I'll put it that way.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. It is one of those weird ones, isn't it? Cryptozoology in the field is one of those strange ones. But I always go back to, if they were real live and kicking animals, as it were, there'd be something we could test on a lot more reality basis. There's got to be physical evidence, surely.
Right.
That we could DNA test and it would come up that there's no known species.
Right.
But as far as I'm aware, that hasn't happened.
Correct. There hasn't been yet.
Which kind of leads to the assumption that they're not there. Or they're elemental. They're not actually a physical being. They're actually an elemental kind of scenario.
Right.
There's a lot of explanations of what they could be.
Yeah, we've done shows on it, and we've heard some really wild, wacky theories on what they actually are.
I mean, I see a documentary quite a while ago, and this film crew was doing, I think they were hitting branches on trees, and they were like, you do this and you can get a reply back. And I've always envisaged another film crew on the other side of the forest going, that's a Bigfoot communicating with us. Do it back.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit, for that sort of thing to be counted as evidence, I think you'd have to be able to account for everybody in that forest. It's not going to happen.
That's true.
Right.
I mean, Gary in the chat room has actually said that he believes there is such a thing as Bigfoot, but he's got to be crowned the champion of hide and seek.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, there are thousands and thousands of species that haven't been discovered yet, and we're making new discoveries all the time. So it could just be a case of that's all it is. So it's not unfeasible to assume that there is something out there. But you would have thought by now you would have had some sort of remains or tangible evidence that they are there, especially the size they are, which then leads, I think, to some of the out there theories of interdimensional beings and aliens and all that sort of stuff.
True, that's very true. Let's get back to your paranormal side anyway. Let's get back to your investigation side, because that's mainly what you do. Kaz in the chat room has asked, have you come across a location that you have refused to work in or felt that you shouldn't be in?
Yeah, there's been a few. You go to these private homes and you kind of get weirded out at them because you're not expecting to see certain things. Like, I did one house that was a hoarder house, and the smell was atrocious. You couldn't investigate it.
Okay.
And no logical explanation for that, Jimmy?
No, mental health issues, I would say, on that.
Oh, okay. I mean, I'm reading a book at the moment, and in this particular book, they were saying about what had happened was there was a location that they were renovating, and this particular situation was happening in the bathroom, and they'd ripped the plumbing out, they'd redone the plumbing, and there was no explanation for the stench and all the rest of it. And when they looked at the original, the building that was there before, it actually turned out to be not a toilet. It turned out to be an apartment where somebody had killed themselves. And once they explained, they got a psychic in and explained to the spirit that this was, just a regression of reality. They're not really in their apartment anymore, that no one's being disrespectful. It's just changing. The smell just went. It just absolutely just dispersed, and there was no logical explanation. And it just seemed that it was weird how the medium had come in and done his bit, and then all of a sudden the problem seemed to resolve itself with the plumbing, or the so-called plumbing issue. So it is fascinating, isn't it, how things happen like that?
Yes.
What's the strangest you've come across that you went, that's really weird?
I was with some investigators of mine, and we were at the town meeting house, and I saw something go from left to right. I said, snap photos. As we snapped photos, you could see a little girl standing in the pews, and it kind of took us off guard.
Awesome. Did you find out anything about that little girl, or?
Yeah. She, she actually was one of the original descendants of the property.
Awesome.
And she died of some kind of disease, what we understood.
Yeah. Okay.
So before we came on air, we was actually talking tech with you, because you're quite techie when you go out in the field, as well as being a sensitive, aren't you?
Correct.
So,
with tech, you got to, some of the equipment out there is no good. Some of the equipment's really good. The EDI, it's an EMF meter, temperature, and vibration all in one device. I recommend that to anybody. And you can drop it, you can throw it, and it won't break.
Yeah, I've experienced the EDI. I've know someone's got one. Yeah, they do seem to be quite good.
Yeah.
Sorry, what piece of equipment is that?
It's called the EDI. It's basically a K2 meter, a thermometer, and a vibration detector.
All in one.
All in one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It does seem to do the job.
Yes.
I just question the calibration levels and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
The Poltercom is another one that we use. And it scans the radio waves. It's made by Paranologies, and they make some amazing equipment. Like I have a camera, it's called the Anomaly camera. I do side-by-side shots. One is in full spectrum. The other one is in normal vision.
Okay.
So you're getting two photos at the same time.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So basics. What's your favourite piece of equipment, and what's your worst piece of equipment?
I would say my worst equipment would be ghost meter.
A ghost meter?
Yeah, ghost meter. The one with the little red light on the top that goes off, everything gets near it.
Is that what we call a K2 pole?
Probably, I think, yeah.
The other piece of equipment that I really like is the REM pod.
Okay.
The REM pod seems to be work really well. It's an ITC product, and I really like it.
Yeah, so I was having a discussion about the REM pod today with someone. She said that the REM pod that she had been set up in her bedroom, and it kept going off, on and off all night. And she was asking for paranormal investigators' opinions of what it could be. And not one of those investigators said, well, actually, it could be a faulty piece of equipment. They will jump into the conclusion spirit activated and stuff, and it's like, maybe you should know your equipment a little bit better before jumping to those sort of conclusions, because it's more logical that it's going to be defective, or possibly defective, or even the batteries are running low, then it could be spirit. I think, I said to her that the best piece of advice I'd give her was basically change the batteries and see if it happens again tonight. We'll see what the results are. You got to, know equipment using. I mean, I've had it was a cheap version of a K2 meter, and because I'd never seen this device before, I didn't know too much about it. But it kept going off, and it kept going up to the red signal.
Right.
And it just kept doing that all night. And I then found out that when the batteries are low, that's what it does.
Right. But also walkie-talkies.
Yep, walkie-talkies set them off.
Yeah, we found that out. So we don't take walkie-talkies with us anymore.
That's it. And so you do need to know your equipment before using it, I think.
Right.
Because it can give you false readings otherwise.
Right. I agree 100%.
Yeah. So, is there any more questions in the chat room, Kerry? Because I see it going mental.
Well, they're just taking the mickey out of me about tech, quite frankly.
Oh, right, okay.
I think that's actually where they're going with this.
Okay, so any questions on tech, Kerry?
Yeah, I'm not that kind of girl, I'm afraid, buddy. Right, Alan Crabtree, he's asked a couple of things. Are these relevant to you? First of all, he said something to do with Osiris. Does that mean anything to you?
No.
Okay, and Susie?
No.
Okay. There you go, Alan. Sorry.
Okay. Interesting. So I'm going to go through them now then.
Well, no, I want to talk about your book club, because you on your page on Facebook, which is Haunted in New England, you do a book thing, don't you? Every week you do that.
Yeah, we're doing it every Thursday. It's a good way for people to, even investigators that are just getting out, to start learning. You can read first before you do an investigation.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree. I do it. Most of my work is reading and research more than getting out in the field.
Right.
Not
right.
tech, though.
I hear that.
Yeah, she reads it from a proper book, not a Kindle. That's what she means.
Yeah, I do. I actually read it from a paperback. So what kind of things do you cover? What kind of books have you got on there?
The two that we did so far, one was about Denver State Hospital in Massachusetts. That was doctor's memoirs and some of the stuff that he actually did to the patients of the asylum. And it was a very interesting read. And then the other one was by Dr. Thomas D'Agostino, and he wrote about haunted Massachusetts. And it was really a good book. And I got to meet the author and get an autograph on him. But he's really down to earth.
They usually are, though, aren't they, Eric? Do you not find?
Yeah.
All these people are so approachable. If you are interested and you meet these people, they're so approachable and just discussing their ideas.
Right. And, I've done great locations from some of these authors that have given me some information, and I've gone and done it.
Yeah. And it's always worth broadening your experience levels from other people that have, like from books, from talking to people, because it gives you ideas to take into the field for yourself.
Yes.
You have got a Amazon, is it Amazon Prime show that you do?
Amazon Prime, yeah.
And that's Haunting New England, isn't it?
Correct.
So how are you finding that going?
Slow. It depends on the time of the season, too. Because most of the time, they actually, during the fall around here in New England, that's when you get most of the people to watch that kind of stuff. But other than that, you don't. During the spring, summer, everyone's outside playing.
Yeah, everyone's out there doing their thing and sorting themselves out anyway. So it's a winter thing, really. So do you sort of hold them in and then release them when people are wanting to watch?
Amazon 24 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody can rent them. And then they just rent them and watch them. Or they can buy them and add them to their video collection.
Do you follow the generic TV program kind of format with your program?
We tried to follow the same things the apps did. But the way they did it was a little different from what we did it. We kind of wanted to bring the reality to it.
Yeah.
And do it that way. And
okay.
The realism has to be there. We showed, we've done Facebook Live. We've actually showed people a shadow person during an investigation.
Okay.
Right on Facebook Live. So we try to bring you the best evidence we can give you during that time period.
Or nothing if you get nothing.
Right. Right.
If you do capture any evidence,
daytime investigations too. So.
If you capture any evidence, do you try and debunk it there and then, as well?
Yeah, we tried to debunk the shadow person at the tattoo parlor.
Right.
But we couldn't debunk it. There was no one there.
Okay.
So.
Okay, so Gary. Sorry, Eric. Carry on.
So, like with the haunting of Aggie, we actually had stuff going on there too. Mm-hmm. We had a 98-year-old woman. She goes, "I haven't been touched in years. Somebody please touch me."
Ooh.
And a boy, dog, girl, whatever. Someone touched me. And she felt a touch on her face, and the REM pod went off.
I'm so sorry. My mind went dirty on that one.
Yeah.
Wait, sorry.
So the REM pod actually went off after she got touched. So it gave us proof that she was touched.
Yeah, it's interesting. Definitely.
It certainly is. Getting it back to the sensible. Gary Bradfield has asked a question. He said, what is your best piece of advice that you could give someone starting out in the paranormal field?
Find somebody to work with that you can trust, and that somebody that you could learn from. There's always someone out there that could teach you the right way and the wrong ways of doing things. But find that person that will teach you to do the right way.
There are a lot of people out there that can give you help and advice, and
right.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's always I thought it was always better to find your own way. You know, right. get help and advice when you would need it, but sometimes it's better to take the advice but find your own way.
Right.
Because their way, okay, might be right or wrong, but if you find your own way, you can build on what they've got, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And passing your knowledge as well. That's another thing.
Yeah.
You know, there are a lot of teams out there that don't like to share and, you know, withhold the information, but I think the way this field is going to move forward is if we all talk together and share.
Right. But we were saying this before the show. It's about that open and respectful discussion, and you know that's the integral part of the field, isn't it? Is, you know, reaching out to people and having a respectful, open discussion. Regardless whether you agree with each other or not, that's not the point. It's about broadening your horizons and increasing your knowledge base, and by doing that in a respectful way, rather than trying to rip each other down. That's what the field needs. That's where you need to progress, rather than having the haters, as we were saying before the show, because you've experienced a little bit of that as well in America. Now, in the UK, the field is kicking off a little bit at the moment, but you've experienced that in America as well, haven't you?
Yes. Yeah. You got haters that are in the paranormal field, but you also got haters that are in your real life. Mm-hmm. I come across that quite a bit in my life.
I think you get them in any sort of walk of life.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, I do. I think it's
any business as well. They're all over the place.
Yeah, that's true. I think it's because we're focused on the paranormal field. It feels like it's just a paranormal issue, and it's not.
No.
It's not, or it's a people issue. Unfortunately,
humankind. Right. Too many of us.
We need a plague.
Yeah, the purge. Anyway,
but keep all the good people anyway.
Anyway, on that note, we have actually come to the end of the show. The hour's gone fast. It always does, unfortunately. Kerry, what have we got coming up in the next week?
Well, tomorrow evening on the Supernatural Chat Show, we have the lovely Sean Cadman. He's talking to the wonderful Gary Bradford again tomorrow evening. Gary is a wealth of information, and I do feel he might become a regular on Parasearch Radio because we love him very much. Followed at 9 p.m. by Haunted Histories. She's talking about Baldwin House with Ashley Mortimer, which was owned by Jimmy Page at one point, with Aleister Crowley links and all sorts of things like that. Absolutely fascinating topic. I'm literally can't wait for that show. Awesome. Then on Thursday evening, the Spectral Zone has a Lancashire Paranormal. Sorry, I'm just reading the chat room as well. On Friday evening, the Dark Mirror Show, we are talking all about animal psychics and animal communicators, is probably a better way of putting it. And then on Sunday evening, on the Spirit Dimension, I have the lovely Sasha Canet in the studio with me, and Claire Hinks will be back with me on that show. So yeah, we've got another full week going on. The competition that is running on the Parasearch Radio group page will be drawn on Friday. I should Monday, but if you saw that, you realised how frazzled I was, couldn't focus on the thing. I was a complete meltdown state, and I should have done that. I apologise. We're going to keep running it until Friday. So if you guys would like 2 tickets for the Chocolate Factory, you've still got time to enter. Just go over to the Parasearch Radio Facebook group page and you can enter it there, and it gets drawn on Friday at 9 p.m. Don't forget, check out all our shows on Parasearch Radio on YouTube. Click, like, share and subscribe. I love doing that bit.
I know, you do that every show.
I do love that bit.
Oh,
sorry.
Dear. Well,
I
want to thank you, Eric, for joining me tonight. Absolutely fantastic.
Oh, you're welcome.
If you've ever got any future projects or anything that you want to come on air and talk about, let me know, and we'll get you back on air.
Well, we are doing a sharing and caring event on the 18th of May next year, and we would love Haunted in New England to be part of that. If you want to know more about that, go over to our website and you'll find out all the information you need.
I'm sure Kerry will share that with you, Eric, anyway.
Oh, I'm sure I will.
So I was just about to say all that, but she jumped.
Sorry, I just jump in.
Yeah, absolutely, not a problem.
Sorry.
Well, how formal we like to keep the show. So yeah, thank you, Eric, for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure, and also thank you, Kerry, as well, wonderful co-host, and I thank everyone in the chat room as well. It just makes the show with everyone in the chat room. Otherwise, we'd run out of things to say, wouldn't we, really, sometimes?
Never.
Actually, no, I run out of things to say. Kerry...
Very true.
Yeah, typical woman thing, I feel. And on that note, it's good night from me.
Oh, and it's good night from me.
And good night from me.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to join us for more shows throughout the week. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and the World Wide Web to keep up to date with all the shows right here on Parasearch Radio.